saddled my horse and away I did ride, and I rode till I came to Northumberland side. I called at the alehouse, the sign was the Crown. They brought me a chair, and I sat myself down singing Farther Day. Let it fall day, while I in my pocket had one penny.
When I joined the Record Office back in 1998, I soon became aware of some cassettes that were sitting in boxes, nothing being done with them. They were recorded memoirs of veterans of the 2nd Air Division of the 8th Army of the United States Army Air Force. It was veterans' memories of their time based in Norfolk during the Second World War. And I thought, what a shame that no one is listening to them, or that we're doing anything actively to preserve them. And I started digging, and I found other sound recordings within collections, and nothing really was being done. Dr. John Alban, who was the county archivist at the time, had been involved with an initiative called the East Anglian Sound Archive, which surveyed collections of sound archives within the region. So we knew that there was some other collections out there, and based on that, Dr. Alban was keen to include some sort of facility within the new record office that was being designed in the early 2000s. And so when the Archive Centre opened in 2003, of which the Norfolk Record Office was part, there was some capability to digitise and provide access to sound. Also in 2003, and probably was a key driver in all of this, was one of the collections that was surveyed by the East Anglian Sound Archive initiative, was the archive of BBC Radio Norfolk. At the same time, they were moving from their offices in Surrey Street in Norwich, which were quite spacious, to smaller offices in the Forum. And so they were keen that their archive of analogue tape was housed somewhere, and they deposited it with us. For many years I've known people at the British Library. In 2005 I remember attending a talk at the conference of the Society of Archivists, as it was then known. It was a talk given by Will Prentice, and I remember sitting down with him, with Martin Estelle of Essex, and we were saying it would be lovely if the British Library could provide a bit more support to heritage organisations that were looking after sound. And I was lucky enough to spend 3 months at the British Library as an intern, learning how to digitise, or confirming how to digitise analogue sound archives, and I met several people at that time. I was also involved in the burgeoning British and Irish Sound Archive group, and Will Prentice was the first chair of that organisation, and through that organisation I met Richard Ramft, who was instrumental in putting together the Unlocking Our Sound Heritage Project. Another notable place for collecting sound within the region is the Essex Sound and Video Archive at the Essex Record Office, and they were already doing a lot of what UOSH planned to do as part of their own Heritage Lottery project. So they would have been the other obvious hub base within the region, but thankfully for us, the Norfolk Record Office was chosen, and we were only too pleased to be a part of this project.
I used to go down in the morning and just turn the old tap on and have a wash underneath the tap in the mornings.
Why down at the tap? Why not in the house?
I never had any tap water. Never had any taps indoors.
Sound heritage is important because it's immediate. I think it's easier to relate to in some ways than the written record. It's more emotive. I think compared with moving image archive, it gets the imagination working. You've got to concentrate, I think, more to an audio only recording. It's the only way audio visual records you can record dialect and the different ways of speaking.
Now this is a bit about a day I made a Morecambe. The old boss, he come to me one morning and he say, them old crows are only playing that there bit of barley up down that bottom field. Go you up the door and ask the missus for an old coat of something to make a Morecambe with. So I got some bits of wood and I made a sort of frame. And then I went up the door. I say to the missus, the boss want me to make a Morecambe to keep the old crows off of the barley, or I got just the thing for you. She said, hey, I'll put you this here suit on, a Morecambe. I said, that's a good suit, ain't? Never you mind about that. She said, I hate the sight on it, and I always hate the sight of him wearing on it. Glad to get rid on it. I went in the turnip shed and got a great old Swede, and I fixed her on the top, and I got some paint and painted the face on. When he come in, where'd you get that suit from? That ain't going on a Morgan. That's one of my best suits, he said. Now I said, look exactly like you, that'll frighten no crows. He said, don't you be so cheeky, boy. He said, that ain't like me at all.
Also, some individuals and organisations, a key part of their output is recorded within sound recordings. You can't preserve the activities of someone like Radio Norfolk, BBC Radio Norfolk, without preserving their sound archive. It's a way to record their activities, so you've got to preserve the sound. Try and find out what you've got, just what formats, how many of each. That gives you a good idea of where to proceed, what to tackle first. And armed with that knowledge, you can start developing a program for digitisation. There's lots of advice out there, not only produced by the Unlocking Our Sound Heritage project, but also IASA, International Association of Sound and Audiovisual Archives, reports written by the Technical Committee, IASA TC 03, 04, 05, gives good introductions to what to do, especially TC 05, with regards packaging and storage and identification of your different formats. Once you know where you want to start with, is doing a very basic piece or file level description based on information written on packaging, and that provides a good basis from where you can start looking at digitisation. And some of that could be done in-house, or it's a matter of applying for funding and getting an outside contractor to do it. I'm going to go with compact cassette because that's what I grew up with. It's cheap, it was easy to use, it's portable, you can make your own recordings or record off transmission. If you took a bit of care about the recording process, you could get quite good results. And I think it's, for that reason, I'll go for compact cassette.